just when you thought it was safe to go onto iTunes. This is Next Level Guy, the only website that makes self-development as fun as going to the movies. It's time to take the red pill and escape the Matrix.
Welcome to the Next Level Guy podcast. Today's guest is Megan Collins from StyleGirlfriend.com. Today we discuss what style is, how it affects you, and how you can start building up your own personal style, even if you don't have a clue where to begin. Finally, before we get to the action, my apologies for the quality of the audio. I had some issues with the mic, and unfortunately had to do some hardcore editing. My apologies for any inconvenience while listening.
Hi Ian, how are you?
Hi Megan, how's things going?
Great. I'm halfway through a summer Friday, so enjoying working from home.
And have you been busy today?
Yeah, I have. I had a coffee this morning with someone that we're looking to do business with, and then I actually swapped out all my summer and winter clothes when I got back. So yeah, I've been busy and productive.
I like it. You've got summer and winter clothes. I could never seem to figure that out. I just seem to have stuff that goes the whole year round.
I think it's more a factor of living in New York City and not having the space for more than, just sweaters at a time. So
it's something I need to get on to and actually look like a grown-up rather than somebody that's raided a sports department. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to speak to me today, Megan. Can you give me an idea of where the idea for the website came from? How you describe it to somebody who hasn't seen it before, and do you have such a thing as an average reader?
Absolutely. So Style Girlfriend is a daily men's lifestyle site that helps men dress better and live with more confidence, all from a friendly female perspective. So, sort of stepping in for that supportive wife or girlfriend at home that, wants to encourage you and wants you to sort of appear at your best and is invested in you doing so. The way it got started, I always like to tell people, I wish I had, could tell you that I did this competitive analysis of the digital landscape and found that a female voice was missing from menswear, but I really just fell into it. I used to work in advertising, and I was getting out of that in starting to develop a freelance writing career. So as I was taking on, all these different projects, one of the projects that I took on was writing a weekly column about guy style for a good friend of mine's company website. He had started a company that was all about making affordable suiting, and he said, I know you're trying to write more, so why don't you, write something for the site and get a little bit more exposure. And I told him, I said, I'd love to, because, I was saying yes to everything, as you should when you're sort of, just starting out. But I don't know anything about guy style. I told him, is that a problem? I don't want to, pretend that I'm this expert when I'm not. And he goes, oh no, just, write about what women like to see men wearing, on dates and things like that, and tell them to wear suits more often. So that was sort of the advice that I took to get it started. And it really helped because it allowed me to be writing from the perspective of just a fan of guys dressing well, right? I'm not an expert. I'm not ever going to lecture you on the history of tweed or anything like that, but I am going to kind of give you the shortcuts to great style and, to what women want to see you wearing. So that ended up really taking off. It felt like there was sort of a white space in the market for men who wanted to look good but weren't necessarily into, fashion with a capital F, right? Like following Fashion Week and following trends and all of that. They're just like, look, I shop, on High Street, or I shop at the mall. Like, I just want to kind of get on with my day. Like, what should I do? And so that's who we speak to. So we have three pretty distinct audiences within that, general umbrella definition. And that's, the first is, men, college guys who are just coming out of university that are kind of for the first time realizing like, oh, I need a proper grown-up wardrobe. So what should I do? How can I do it under budget? Where do I start? So we talked to him about sort of getting your first work wardrobe put together. And the next guy is a guy who's, maybe mid-20s, early 30s, and he's really working on a beta wardrobe. He's kind of been there, done that with like building his first work wardrobe, and maybe he is realizing like, oh crap, like most of that stuff stinks and it doesn't fit well and it's, it's not good quality and what should I do? So we're helping him sort of upgrade, and it's nice because he has some more disposable income and he can afford to maybe buy brands that he hasn't worn before and really commit to investment pieces in his wardrobe. So that's really fun. And then we also cater to what I like to call as the cool dad. The man who maybe has older kids at this point, maybe they're even out of the house, and he maybe is getting teased by his kids, oh dad, you and your dad jeans, or, you're not so stylish. And he's saying, okay, well, what can I do? How can I make it easy? How can I kind of put together a uniform that I can pull on every day, but I can feel confident and I can feel stylish wearing? So it's really those three guys. And what's interesting is the advice doesn't really change. It's more kind of just the price point that changes depending on who we're talking to, because things like fit and things like quality of a garment are going to be important no matter what stage of life you're in.
No, that's a great answer. For me, I would definitely be a B.
Yeah.
It's that kind of trying to adapt to the grown-up lifestyle where a lot of jobs I've had have been very much the wear what's comfortable, the business casual.
Right.
And I find it very difficult. I work in a university at the moment where I'm surrounded by guys in suits and the tweed jackets, the aged professors, and I'm the 6'3" power lift, etc. Kind of just put on whatever I can find that fits rather than a style, shall we say.
Right.
So, can you tell me a bit about your story? Where did you grow up? What did you want to be as a child? It just seemed, it's like, how did you get into this, like, blogging and...
Sure. I'm from Wisconsin originally, which is in the Midwest, and I love being from Wisconsin, but I also sort of knew I'd never stay there. I had, big aspirations to live in New York. I think that it just sort of has a magnetic pull on some people, and I was one of those people. So since I was, really as long as I can remember kind of thinking about what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be when I grew up, it was always New York. So when I was 18, I took a gap year and lived here for the year. It was exciting and terrifying, and I was, broke. My parents supported me emotionally, but they didn't support me financially. So I really kind of got a feel for both living in the city, because I'd only ever visited here once with my dad on, a work trip, and we saw a Broadway show, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not really what, Times Square is not super indicative of New York, so let me get back there and spend some time. So I was happy that I did that, because it really did confirm for me that I did want to live in New York. But it also was good because I didn't really know what I wanted to do quite yet. I thought I wanted to work sort of in media, but I didn't really know in what respect. And so taking some time off, it let me, see what different jobs looked like and kind of get some experience in the working world. And so when I went on to school, I ended up studying advertising and PR, and I got into advertising out of school, and I pretty immediately realized that I didn't like it. But I'm also someone who's very sort of security oriented, which does not jive with the actions that I've taken in my life. But I really wanted something where I had sort of a career ladder, well, first you're an assistant account executive, and then you're an account executive, and then you're an account supervisor. And that was like the most attractive thing to me. I wanted that security, but I didn't really care for advertising. It was hard for me to sort of drink the Kool-Aid on the brands and the accounts that I got put on, because you don't really have any say in it. So you might work on something that you really like and enjoy, or you might work on something that you would never in a million years use or, consume or purchase. And that was really tough for me. It just felt like from very early on, I was like, this does not make me happy. But I continued to stay in it for about the next 3.5 years because, like I said, I was really scared about doing something that had less security involved, like becoming a freelance writer, like starting my own business. So eventually I got to a point where I just said, life is too long. Like, it's not too short. It's too long for me to be unhappy so many hours of the day. I want a career. I don't just want a job. So I made the decision to leave advertising and start writing. And so that's really where that came from. My goal was always just to create a community. It was to create communication and understanding. And I didn't really have a strong plan for how I was going to do that. Like I loved writing. I loved putting something out there and kind of saying, do you feel this way too? And what I found was that with Style Girlfriend, I developed an audience really fast of all of these people these men, that were like, yeah, style is hard. And, I'm learning and you're learning and we're figuring this out together and we're in it together. And, it's now I couldn't imagine anything else, but it definitely wasn't anything that, I can tell you that I had this 5-year, 10-year game plan where I was like, I'm going to be a big deal in menswear. Like that was never in the game plan.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm 33 now and I still have no idea what I want to do. I kind of fall from job to job and work, in a university now for about 7 years, and it's enjoyable, but the website and the podcasting and interviewing people and helping others, it gives you that sort of real self-satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'm really glad that you made your site, because there's so many things I've learned off it that I would have had no clue about before. A recent one was what to wear on a date.
Oh, nice.
Getting some nice, didn't go exactly to plan, but it's nice to get some new threads and to understand how other people portray it.
Absolutely.
A big thing for me was I used to always think style was only something that applied to clothes. So, is there a definition of style that you would give to like the average Joe? How if it doesn't apply to clothes, how can you understand it if you're coming in have no idea what style is, or how if like your wife's wanting you to get better, or that sort of thing? Is there a key definition of style that you give on your site?
For the way that we look at it, style is really how you present yourself to the world. So it's sort of as simple and as huge as that, right? It's everything from what you put on to the way you carry yourself, to how firm your handshake is, to the smile that you give to strangers on the street. It's really about confidence. So the idea of personal style really speaks to the idea that, look, I'm putting effort in, and that's sort of making its way out into the world in a positive, having a positive effect. So it's something that when some people hit the site, they kind of are like, well, appearance shouldn't matter, and what I wear isn't what's the most important thing about me. And, of course, to some extent, I agree with that. We want to know that you have a great personality, and we want to know that you have passions, and that you love what you do, or you love, even if you don't love what you do, you love your family, or, that you have, you have these things going for you. But at the same time, we have to accept reality that appearance does count in impressions, so being able to sort of work within those confines while still being true to yourself, while still feeling comfortable and feeling like yourself, there's a balance to be attained that I think for some reason takes longer for men than for women. And honestly, I think a big part of it is just that, and this is not a compliment to women, it's more of a detriment to society, but women have the importance of appearance placed on them from a much younger age. It's much more about like, you have to look beautiful and you have to, wear the right things and say the right things. And so I think we just have it sort of banged into our heads from a younger age. But for men, it's something where it isn't until sometimes they reach their 30s or later that they say, you know what, this guy, in the cubicle next to me, he always looks really great. And it seems like things work out for him. Like I think that there's that guy that other guys can look to and be like, what's he doing that I'm not doing? And instead of saying, well, screw that guy and screw society and screw, forget these women who like aren't wanting to talk to me, why not look at that as inspiration? Or why not look at that as, a reference point for saying, well, what could I be doing better? Not to get mad about it, but to get motivated.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed was, say, 20 years ago, guys just never bothered, but it would always be sports star so-and-so, or the, famous actor, and then it was always pretty, then the girl, or it was always attractive, actress. It was always about the looks with women, and it was that unfair, put them on the pedestal. But I've noticed a big shift now to all sort of media analysing what, not just what the NBA stars do, but how they dress, how they hold themselves, how they talk. There's that much more deeper analysis of people now in the media. When did you notice that there was this sort of move towards guys being more interested in fashion and style and stuff like that? Is it something you've noticed recent, or has it been a sort of gradual evolution?
I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was, that term of metrosexual, and there was, queer eye for the straight guy, and all of these things where it was sort of acknowledging the importance of appearance, but also working very hard to get guys to accept the idea that they could care. Like, there was all of this effort put into the idea that, no, really, it's okay to care about your appearance. But there was a lot of pushback on that. And so I think just in the last few years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, has it gotten to a point where it's not only okay to care, but it's, to some degree, it's expected. And I think that that's why sites like StyleGirlfriend do well, because there's been this about face where, yes, it's acceptable to put effort into your appearance, but I don't think that there's still a great amount of material out there for guys who it doesn't come naturally to, which is a lot of guys. Style doesn't come naturally to me. I have to work at it. I'm constantly, kind of pruning my wardrobe and trying to figure out new and interesting ways to wear things together and figure out what to do with my hair. Like, I think a lot of guys can relate to that. So to be able to be that sort of primer on, here's the cool way to kind of cuff your pants. Like, you've probably seen guys, cuffing their pants, and, it looks cool, but you can't figure it out. And we're going to help you figure it out, because I think that, you might look at a spread in like an editorial, like a GQ or an Esquire, and be like, yeah, that guy looks great, but I don't know what he's doing that's different than what I'm doing. I just know that it's very different. So to be that intermediary and say, we're going to break it down, we're going to give you the shortcuts and the tips and the tricks and the things that everyone else is just sort of expecting you to already know, that's what we're there for. Because I think that's why style can become frustrating to men, because it's something where they don't necessarily want to ask for directions. They don't want to ask for help. And, that's what the internet is for, right? Like, you don't have to tell anybody that you don't know what you're doing. You just Google it, and then you figure it out that way.
Yeah, because that's something that actually my mum taught me quite a few years back, was if you've got a problem, Google it, because you can guarantee 10,000 other people have had the exact same problem.
Yeah, and I think that, we like to say that our biggest competitor isn't, a GQ or an Esquire or another menswear site. It's really just apathy. It's a guy giving up and saying, this is too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to look foolish. It's, it's the sense of, I guess, style or fashion just isn't for me. That's our biggest competitor, is that sort of sense of dejection.
I mean, that's something I've definitely sort of struggled with myself. You go into the store, the attendants are very sort of hands-on, and there are a lot of guys need to sort of browse and really take their time and build up their confidence and have a look. And then, you start going, oh, no, I can't go shopping because I don't know what suits me, and they feel awkward in the changing room. So then we go online and look at certain magazines, and you see like £600 bags, £300 shirts. It's that kind of, to be stylish, it seems you're really expensive, or you have to go for certain brands, and there's the skinny jeans, but it doesn't always suit people. And I think a lot of guys just say, well, where do I start? I don't know. Why should I bother?
Right.
They sort of go into that lethargic, well, if it fits.
Yeah, and it stinks. It's so discouraging. It makes you not want to try. It makes you say, well, I guess I'm just not going to be a stylish guy. But that's not, you can only get better at things. And I think that's something I try to think about a lot. Like, if you start taking piano lessons and you're just terrible at it, like, that can feel really discouraging. But you have to remember, I can only get better at, playing the piano, at working on my style, at all of these things. So you have to look at it as a progression, not sort of a pass-fail test.
And something that I really liked about your site was that it was designed for everybody. It was, if you want to try a bit more colour, here's how to wear this particular, like shark skin. Here's how to wear pink. There were discussions on the fallacy of style, being complete. There was different articles about try this kind of clothing, or have a look at that, or here's how you should look roughly at age 30, 20, 40. So it caters for all sorts of people. Have you noticed your own personal style changing as you've worked on the site? Do you only go out now with full of makeup? Has your sort of interest in men changed to your type, for instance? Has it affected you in any particular way?
It's definitely something where I notice when I don't take my own advice, right? So if I go on a flight and I'm like, I'm just going to wear, my leggings and sneakers to the airport. Like, I always kind of hate myself a little bit for it because I'm like, Megan, like, this is what you tell guys. Like, make a point to dress up, make a point to make an effort. So when I do make an effort, I do feel it that much more. And I think that I not just feel more confident, but I recognize I feel more confident because I put effort into my look. And I think that the more you can make that connection, the more impactful that's going to be on your likelihood to do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day, right? So if a guy, gets a haircut and he goes to work and 3 different people are like, oh, hey, you look great today. Like, he's going to be like, oh, I should make sure that my hair looks good more often. Or and if he doesn't, then he's kind of missing an opportunity, right? Like, if he's not acknowledging the sort of A causes B, then that's a missed opportunity. So it's definitely something where I do it for myself. But yeah, I mean, in terms of, I make a point to recognize, hey, Megan, you feel really great today, don't you? Oh, I think it's because, you're wearing those pants that you feel really professional and stylish in, or you made a point to like blow dry your hair nice. Like, it sounds silly and it sounds superficial, but it really does make an impact on how you go out into the world and how you take on the day. And so, if putting on a suit or putting on, a pair of like dress pants and a button-up shirt and tucking that shirt in and making sure your shoes are polished, if that helps you go into a presentation that then, helps you close a deal, that then, helps you get a promotion in the next 3 months, like, you have to think about the long game. So every advantage you can give yourself is worth it. And so for me, yeah, it's definitely made me take my own advice more and put the effort in. And it's a snowball effect. I definitely notice when I do, and I notice when I don't.
No, I completely agree with that. It's something I do notice especially in sort of more professional sort of environments like universities and businesses, is you're judged on your look, the way you handle yourself, the way, the consistency of your work as well. And it's something that I have definitely worked myself. I've realised that I couldn't wear what was just comfortable. I had to look the part as well as act the part.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some real horror stories, shall we say, that I thought matched. Yeah. I'm glad there's not many pictures about. Say you've got somebody listening to this. They are completely fed up. They look like a slob, maybe wearing tracksuits the whole time, or they just don't know where to start. Their home's a bit of a mess, fashion's hideous, no idea where to start. So apart from your website, can you give me sort of 3 tips that you would say, as a sort of, these are the first 3 things you should do regardless of what situation you're in?
In terms of style?
Yeah, just to sort of get the ball rolling, to become sort of more stylish.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I always recommend when people are kind of starting to undertake a style journey, as it were, is to do really a thorough wardrobe review. So literally take everything out of your closets, out of your drawers, and dump it all in the bed. This is something that you could undertake with a friend or a significant other if they're willing, but you can do it on your own too, but you kind of have to be willing to be objective. So take everything out, and then you start separating things into piles, right? So you say, this stuff I'm going to take to the tailor. Maybe it's a shirt that's been missing a button for the last year and a half, and every time you pull it out of the closet, you're like, oh, right, it's missing a button, and then you put it back in and promptly forget about it. So there's probably going to be a good amount of things that will either feel like brand new or will, fit better. Maybe there's a rip in the elbow, whatever it is. Maybe it just never fit right, and you bought it on sale, and now you don't feel like you've gotten anything out of it. So those things go to the tailor, and you just take it in one big trip, and it might be not the cheapest trip to the tailor, but, for what you get out of it for, these clothes that kind of feel brand new in your closet, it'll be worth it. The next pile is just get rid of it, right? There's things where no amount of tailoring can save them. They haven't been in fashion in forever. They don't make you feel good when you wear them. Maybe you got it on sale, but there's just no saving it. It's not your color. It's not your vibe, but you were just like, well, it's such a good deal, but it's not a good deal if it's just taking up room in your closet. And then the third pile is things that do look good and that you are going to keep, but maybe you haven't thought about new ways to wear those things together. So to be able to keep them, to get them sort of out of your dark closet, out of your dark drawers, you might see them in a new light. And again, if you have a friend helping you, they might say, hey, have you ever thought to wear that sweater with those pants? And you'll say, no, I literally only wear them, with the same thing every time. And I've never thought about how else I can kind of, remix it in my wardrobe. So getting everything out for that reason, even the things that you wear a lot, and even though you're going to put them right back into the closet, pulling them out is helpful just because it does let you sort of think about how you can kind of shop your own closet and think about how you can wear things in new ways and, really maximize what's in your wardrobe. And then once you have everything sorted into piles, you'll also start to get a sense of, oh, wow, I keep buying gray slacks. Maybe I don't need any more gray slacks. Maybe I need a pair of navy slacks, or I have 3 pairs of sneakers, but no dress shoes, better rectify that. So it's also a good way of kind of seeing your blind spots. So the things that you buy too much of, and then the things that you actually need. And of course, that doesn't mean that you need to run out to go shopping right away and buy all of those things at once. I recognize that that's not feasible for a lot of people's budgets, but also it's not really fun. I think that if you see it as a chore, then that's how it's going to feel. So to look at your wardrobe and say, okay, these are the things I need. And then, maybe you go out and buy one thing off that list. And then maybe in another month you buy another thing off that list. It's a way to sort of slowly work on your wardrobe without it feeling like this massive overhaul and, I have to be this new, brand new, different person tomorrow. It shouldn't be like that. It's always going to be an evolution. So that's where I'd start.
Yeah, because that is something I struggled with myself. It was like you were talking directly to me. I know what you were. Because when I first moved to the city I'm in just now, I had one pair of dress shoes, and that did funerals, weddings, work. And I can remember the horror of one of my colleagues saying, my son's got about 5 to 10 pairs, and he's got 6 pairs of trainers. And I was like, why would you need that? I looked, I bought some shirts and tops not recently, and I realised that they were pretty much all blue. I've Googled a few times, like through looking at your site, about particular kinds of shirts to try and that. Mm-hmm. I'm still going down the same kind of colours, the same kind of look and structure. If you were, say, going to shop just now, you think, okay, I'm going to become stylish. I'm going to really try a bit harder with how I look and present myself and how I run my house and all that sort of things. Do you have like a sort of simple guide to knowing straight away if something fits you? Do you know if it suits you? Do you have is there something that a guy can look at and like check how it particularly fits on the thighs, the chest, the arms, or how the colour suits him, for instance? Or is that more a kind of personal?
I think this is always a reason that it's good to sort of enlist friends and family and loved ones that do want to see you look your best, because I think that they can give opinions that maybe you can't see for yourself, especially if this is an area that you feel like you don't know a lot about. And it's not that you should let them dictate your style, but I think other people can be more objective than you can be when you're looking at something, right? Like, just like women are like, do I look fat in this? And you're like, no, of course you don't look fat. Like, it can be the same way with guys, honestly. Guys can say, no, this is too tight. And someone else is looking at them going, no, it's not too tight. Like, you're just used to wearing sweatpants, so everything feels tight if it's not sweatpants. So to have an outside opinion, I think, can be really helpful. Not necessarily a salesperson, because obviously they sort of have a stake in what they say to you about if something looks good or not. But something that, someone who can look at you and say, you know what, that actually fits really well. It's, fits snug through your hips, but then it goes straight down, to your ankle, and it's not too tight, it's not too loose, or, it looks like those shoulders are a little wide in that suit jacket. that can be really helpful. More helpful than looking in a mirror, honestly, sometimes, because especially if you're not used to wearing more structured clothing, like I said, anything can feel tight. I don't know if you've ever done or seen anyone do that thing where they put on a suit and then they kind of start bringing their arms in front of them and they're like, ooh, I don't know, it's so, I can't really move in it. And, you have to think, like, you're not playing basketball in that suit. Like, you're not going to go play football in it. Like, you probably don't need it to stretch with you in these weird ways. Like, you're just going to be walking around. So you don't need to see if you can raise your arms, above your head in it. It's definitely something where, if you've never put a point into dressing well, and if you've always worn very casual clothing, then anything more structured is going to feel like a big change. So having someone there to sort of level set for you and say, no, that's how that should fit, that can be very helpful. That's why, like I said, a stylish friend, a girlfriend, a wife, but, obviously tell them, say, this is something that's awkward for me, or, I'm feeling nervous about going shopping. So please be gentle, be kind. I think that's perfectly acceptable for guys to be able to ask for help, but also say, like, don't, like, just be mindful of my feelings, because I'm putting myself out there right now, and that's hard.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of guys I know, I myself, have struggled with. It's you see these websites of, the 6 must-have items for a guy's wardrobe, and it's always like a white shirt, a particular type of brogues and stuff, and if it's not something you're used to, you think, well, is this what they're meant to do? They're meant to be this tight? I wear chinos because it's the only thing that fit, that have a good fit on my thighs after heavy squats. Because they don't sort of cater for that, you have to go up an extra size in the waist. And I might think they look okay, but to anybody that even slightly notices goes, oh, they look very shocking. It's that kind of. I think a lot of guys just go, okay, I'll spend very little on a heap of different items and hope I cater in that kind of area.
Right.
Would you recommend more expensive items to start with, like one thing a month to gradually improve your style, or? Is it just going, if you got the money, do a burst of shopping? Or?
No, I would definitely say do it slowly. Because, you are going to be wanting to drop a little bit more money on investment pieces. So, if you're working within a budget, you can kind of set yourself a certain amount to spend every month, and then you slowly build the elements of a wardrobe that you can feel proud of.
No, because it's something I'm definitely getting there. But it's like I've all figured out I go for particular styles of clothing on particular brands, depending if I know it fits me. I'll get a few different colours, and then I'll maybe try something slightly different. But for a guy, it's kind of like, no, I know that's a fail-safe. I'll go bang, bang, bang. That'll be much easier for me. Is there a way? How would you describe to somebody to start making their style a bit more individual? Is it just things like sort of pocket chiefs, different kind of colour socks, that sort of thing, or should they go away and get tailored in a certain way? Or
I think the first step is really to actually take a step back and start looking around you and saying, well, what do I like? Who that's out there do I think is a really dapper, stylish guy? Because I think it can be hard to look at what's in your closet and envision what that should look like, or what it could look like a year down the road, 5 years down the road. So I always find it's really helpful to look elsewhere and say, well, I really love, how Idris Elba dresses in his suits, but then sometimes he wears motorcycle jackets and that, but, everything's pretty well tailored. Or, I love David Beckham's style. It's very, it's sporty, but, he's kind of a risk taker. Like, I think it can help to look at people who that they are getting professional help, right? And they are spending a ton of money on their clothing, because then you can say, okay, so that's my ideal. How can I translate that to my own wardrobe? And, so whether that's putting together a Pinterest board and just pinning images when you see them, that's something that women do. And I think, guys might feel funny about doing it, but what you'll start to notice if you do that is you'll start to see, okay, it seems like I defer to sort of a tailored classic look, or, wow, it seems like I keep pinning these images, or I keep kind of coming back to these celebrities or, well-known, whoever it might be, that are like a little bit more modern, you know? And I think that that's a good way to start to get a sense of how you would define your own personal style. And from there, then you can start building that wardrobe, and you'll, you know, maybe you won't, you won't be Beckham tomorrow, but you'll start making your way there.
I mean, something I really enjoy on Pinterest was there's a couple of boards called Things I Wish My Boyfriend Would Wear. Girls who put on like pictures of like from GQ and all these sort of magazines of how they wish their boyfriends looked. And I remember getting so excited thinking, oh brilliant, this would have links to particular items of clothing. And I'll just go buy that. Because some of it was like, well, that looks really smart, I'll try that. And it was just an image of what they wanted their partner to look like. And that's what I struggle with. It's the sort of, oh, I see a guy walking down the street, and I've started paying attention more to what guys are wearing as well. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd be doing that sort of thing and looking, going, oh, I wonder where you got those shoes from. Oh, that shirt's cool. But it's that mentality for guys to kind of go, I can't go and ask him. But I'm sure people would take it as a bit of flattery. In our heads we think, oh no, that's just, you can't possibly do that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe there is such a thing as essential items that a guy should keep in their closet, or a particular way of being stylish in their life? Or is it just...
I mean, I think, every guy needs a great suit. You never know when you're going to get invited to a wedding or have to go to a funeral. Like, there's literally no reason that every guy shouldn't have a really well-fitting suit in his closet, so that if and when that time comes to wear it, he's not scrambling and running to the department store and it doesn't fit and it's not, not in his price range. So to shop for a suit and have that just, get it tailored and just have it ready and waiting, consider it like your, Batman suit. Like, it should just always be ready to go in your closet. And then from there, every guy needs a really great fitting pair of jeans, something that's dark rinse, straight to slim leg, not relaxed fit, nothing that's boot cut, something that just is really classic, and, you can dress it up and dress it down. And then from there, I think a pair of either dress shoes or boots, and then a pair of really clean sneakers, nothing that you're mowing the lawn in, nothing that you're going to the gym in, but something that you can really wear, whether you have a casual office or just, for weekend plans with your girlfriend. A really clean pair of sneakers, something white or something, really kind of crisp. That's a good start. And it applies to almost every guy. I would argue every guy, those things.
I mean, because that was the main problem, again, for me. It was the magazines that would say, must have shirt, and you think, oh, that's okay. Oh, it's $400, or it's a £1,200 watch and stuff like that. It made style seem that unless you were really rich and you had a particular career, that it was out of the reach of certain people. I mean, I know that you wrote a great article on the fallacy of effortless style. Mm-hmm. And it's that thing about that those that look like they don't put any effort in it are the ones that put the most effort into it.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little about that? Do you think style you can ever be complete, or is style always going to be evolving every day? Is there a way that you can look at somebody and say that's the ideal stylish man, or is that such a fallacy that will never exist?
I wrote that because I felt like it was important to recognize that you can be making the effort, and it's still, what you see in the mirror doesn't reflect what you're looking at in the pages of GQ, or what you're seeing from, that really stylish coworker that you have. Like, you feel like there's a disconnect, and you're like, well, but I'm trying. Like, why isn't it getting better? Why aren't I looking better? And so just to recognize the idea, again, kind of to come back to that piano lesson metaphor, like, you might be crap at the piano for months, like, you'll be getting better, but the progress will look very slow, so slow that you almost don't see it. And then you will get better, and then things will get easier. And, instead of it taking 10 minutes to kind of get that goop styled in your hair in the mornings, it'll take 2 minutes. And, instead of buying 3 shirts and end up only wearing one of them because you realize that the other 2 don't really work for your style, like, you'll start to be able to edit better. You'll start to be able to shop better. You'll start to be able to dress yourself better. So I just found that was important, because I think, like I said, it can be very discouraging for guys to feel like, they're at 0 and whoever it is that they look up to for their style is at 1,000 and they're just never going to get there. So to recognize that it does take some effort, but to hopefully enjoy the journey and to hopefully recognize that you are getting better, that's the most important thing. And sure, your style is always going to evolve and, you'll like different things at different phases in your life and that's totally okay. But just to recognize that it's not, don't put yourself down if it doesn't seem easy for you and don't quit.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing is that kind of, it's very overwhelming, the sort of upgrade your house, upgrade your business, like upgrade your personal, how you hold yourself with your partner, how you hold yourself in the working environment. It does seem sort of very, like it's just too big a challenge to actually undertake. So, I mean, is it just in terms of being more consistent, just keep trying to improve every day, try to just juice, trying to remember what they used to say on Be Right for the Straight Guy, the juice?
Oh, I don't even remember. What did they say?
There was a term for it about, like, making it your own. I think it was, like, juicing up something. I can't remember.
Oh, like zhuzhing?
Yeah, just juicing up.
Yeah.
I used to love that show, and I remember when it came out, and I was explaining to some friends of mine, like male friends, about it, and they went, "Oh no, you can't watch the show. You can't tell people about that." And it's like, why? It's about making you a better person.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no, it's like it was a challenge to their sexuality,
right.
Or just because they're gay guys. And I thought that's the kind of guys you want to ask. You want to know how to get yourself better, that other people are attracted to you. I couldn't get my head around that, but I could understand it from some of the more immature sort of people,
Right. Yeah, and I mean, we're really following in their footsteps. I mean, we're straight girl for the straight guy, I guess, if you wanted to kind of give it a comparison, because it is something where we mean well, our editors, they're all pro guys looking their greatest. We're not trying to put anyone down. We're not trying to discourage anyone. We just want to help. And we think that if we have some advice and some feedback that can be useful, then, hopefully that can be taken in the spirit with which it is given.
I mean, are you currently dating yourself, or are you single at the moment, or?
I have
it's a follow-up question.
Thousands of style boyfriends that are, my current interests. So
I was just wondering, was does it make the like, you're like a partner or something? Do you start thinking, oh, I need to really step up my game here?
It's funny. An old boyfriend of mine was so well dressed, better dressed than I'll ever dress. Just suits every day, and because he liked it, not because he had a job that demanded it. And people would say, "Oh, Megan, you must have gotten to him." And I said, "Oh no, he's been dressing like this before, since before we met." So it's what I look for is just guys with confidence. Guys who seem like they feel comfortable with themselves and seem like they, have a handle on why it is they put that thing on in the morning, and hopefully they love it. So that comes across.
Because that's one of the big things I like about your website. It's the female perspective.
Yeah.
There's some articles about what do women think, how do you view certain actions that guys do, or like what do you particularly like in a guy, and it's not that kind of repetitive stuff that we get fed on certain websites that you've got to be big and masculine. Do this, it's that kind of, you give it straight. You say, one for example was about just being yourself. If you even detect that fakeness, you're immediately shut. It was that kind of interest to see that how we're judged by potential partners, other people that we meet, etc.
Right.
Have you got favourite clients that you've helped?
Anytime a reader emails us or, gets in touch with us and says, I have been reading your site for 6 months and I just got named best dressed at my office, holiday party. Like, that stuff gets me every time. So we're very lucky to have really positive readers. Like, we don't have a lot of trolls in the comments. And when we do, like, people, other readers kind of jump on them and defend the site or defend me and defend the editors, which is so lovely. So yeah, we love hearing the success stories. Like, that's so encouraging to me and my team, because that's really why we do it. Like, we want to be there to help facilitate that understanding that dressing well and living with intention really does have this impact on your entire life. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, who are your role models? I mean, is it just parents, or do you look at particular stylish people from old movies, the current life, like celebrities, or?
For style, I mean, I think there's a lot of really great male style kind of icons or inspiration right now that we really look to for, again, just sort of for creative reference on, that's a really great fit, or I never would have thought to put that color combination together, or, what an interesting haircut. So, everyone from, again, the Idris Elba, the David Beckham, we had our annual Style Girlfriend Madness, which is our sort of answer to March Madness, where we pit celebrities against each other in sort of style face-offs. And this year it was Ryan Gosling versus Ryan Reynolds in the championship, and Ryan Reynolds ended up taking the top spot. So, we feel lucky that it does seem like a really great time for menswear and men's style right now, that we're never lacking for inspiration, that's for sure.
Ryan Reynolds is somebody he always looks like he'd just woken up and just dressed, found whatever on the floor, but it looks like it fits him like a glove.
Yeah, exactly. And he looks like he's having fun with it. Again, he doesn't go crazy, but he certainly has some color combinations, and he'll do a 3-piece suit every once in a while, just things that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
Because I can remember hearing from people in my old work that said things like, red and green should never be seen unless on an Irish queen, and these mantras from like way back. And I can remember having to Google, I'm ashamed to admit, quite recently, it's like, can I wear this kind of trousers of this colour with this type of jumper? And it was amazing the number of other guys who had asked that question as well. And for me, it was instead of buying brown chinos, I bought caramel trousers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, is this okay to wear with blue? Do I look silly because I'm 6 foot? It shows like guys can be very powerful and run businesses. They can do all these sort of things, and the second an outfit goes on, they can go back to childhood.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's why, again, like, as much as maybe we would like to pretend that that's like unjust, it's just reality. Like, how you dress affects your self-perception. So why wouldn't you want to give yourself every advantage by wearing something that makes you feel confident and makes you feel like a, grown-ass man? Like, that's the goal.
People judge on looks and appearance and style well before we even get to open our mouths. The site is full of some treasures. Every so often I find something I bookmark without even starting to read it, because I know it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Are there particular things on the site that you love? Your favorite videos or other links that you're particularly proud of, like maybe an interview or?
Well, personally, I love writing the letters from the editor every month. That's something that's totally, from me, and it's directly to the reader about some aspect of living with a style, right? It's not about, here's 3 ways to wear this blue shirt. And we certainly give that type of content on the site. We write that kind of content too. But for me, what I love is being able to have the exact type of conversation that you and I are having right now, right? Like, hey, here's why style matters. Here's something I'm dealing with right now. Are you dealing with this too? Or here's a lesson I learned, and I thought that it would be valuable to share it with you. So just sort of those monthly reminders of like, this is why we're doing this. This is why it matters. Here's how that was reinforced for me recently. And I just, I wanted to share it with you. So that's always what I get most excited about in terms of seeing people's reception. And then, the big things that we do, like I said, Style Girlfriend Madness is always really fun because it's, competitive, and people kind of get involved, and, they want to vote their favorites on, and they, that gets like really fun and engaging in the comments. And video too is something that we're trying to do more of. So just, again, an opportunity to kind of showcase the personality of Style Girlfriend and say, like, this is, what you can kind of expect when you come here. Because I think that especially for newer readers, if they're not well versed in what we're all about, it can come off kind of like I can understand how a guy would be like, well, who are you to tell me what to wear? Like, you're a woman, you don't even wear guys' clothes. So to be able to remind guys that, to consider us sort of a stand-in for, the girl at the end of the bar that you'd like to approach, or, your wife or girlfriend at home that you've been feeling like you want to put more of an effort in for. Like, that's who we are. That's who we're there for. So anything that does a good job of showcasing that, that's what I get most excited about.
No, I mean, there's been certainly some great ones, like the YouTubes when you went to the horse races, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And sitting, speaking to what did they think of boat shoes? What did they think of the and things like that? And it's like you see just from the videos alone of the wide range of different styles and colours and the little patterns and the differences, and it was so interesting to see how so many people had such a different opinion about different things, and you realise it's not just that wear that shirt, be stylish.
Yeah.
I mean, do you look at, one of the things I really enjoyed was when it was the celebrity versus celebrity. Is there particular people in the celebrity world that you think are great dressers that if you're completely lost that you should look towards, or?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong looking at, like I said, Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling. Jeff Goldblum has been out sort of doing press for the new Independence Day movie, and he always shows up really looking just so slick and so comfortable in his own skin. And, whether that's a pair of tone-on-tone penny loafers or, a hat, or I don't know what that guy's doing, but he's doing it right. So he's great, and he's someone who we talk about a good amount on the site. But again, it's really personal, right? I mean, there's going to be common themes for any guy that kind of consistently makes best dressed lists. He's wearing clothes that fit. He's tucking his shirt in. He's, wearing things that aren't baggy. Like, there's going to be consistent themes. But beyond that, it really does start to get personal, and it's about, who you think, whose style you want to see, translated in your wardrobe or reflected in what you're wearing. And that's different for everybody. And some of it is a process, right? Like, maybe something that you feel silly in 2 months, once you've been working on your wardrobe a bit, you might put it on again and be like, oh, I don't know what I was worried about. This actually feels great, and I look great in this. But there is that initial shock and that sort of culture shock of like, if I was literally wearing sweatpants up until 2 days ago, then anything is going to feel different, and different can feel bad at first. So, you have to kind of give yourself the time to process those changes.
For anybody listening to this, is there something that you think womankind wants to tell all men?
That we want to tell all men. Wow, that's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. Just, I think the idea that it is okay to care, right? That it's, not that you need women's permission, but, that it's 2016 and no one's going to either think less of you or think weird thoughts about you for wanting to go shopping or wanting to work on your look or wanting to, do that wardrobe purge that we talked about. That's great. It means you're investing in yourself, and you are the best investment there is. So we're actually working on developing a styling offering. So for guys who want even more personalized support, we're going to be offering on-demand messaging and in-person support. And that'll be launching just in New York, but we're hoping to roll it out to other cities soon after. So be on the lookout for that. There's a sign up on the page. So if you want to be in the loop for when that goes live, you can head to StyleGirlfriend.com and sign up. In 2015, $63 billion worth of menswear was sold in the U.S. alone, and that number continues to grow. We pretty firmly believe that not all of that money was well spent, so we plan to continue to grow and to help funnel choices for guys, to help provide outfit inspiration, and to help provide a vote of confidence when they're ready to purchase and ready to upgrade. So we think that there is a huge opportunity in speaking to this audience and, helping more and more guys find us to make the shopping process, to make the personal style journey easier. So that's really what I'm invested in.
One of the things I did notice was the career gear link that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed a great cause. Can you explain a bit about that and how it came about and how people can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So Career Gear is an amazing organization that we've been working with since the beginning of the year. They provide mentorship and wardrobe support to men who are trying to work their way out of poverty. So whether that's men who are recently incarcerated, men who, for whatever reason are jobless, they're trying to get them back in the workforce. And the way that they do that is through both mentoring, but also helping get them outfitted in the clothes that will help them make a good impression on that interview, will help them get their foot in the door. So it's something that we see as a really perfect fit for Style Girlfriend because, we've been talking for the last hour about the idea that the way that you dress does matter. And so this partnership really is a direct reflection of that being true. And it's a way that, we can feel that we can remind people that this isn't, it's not silly, it's not superficial. It's absolutely a valuable thing to be invested in your appearance because it could literally mean the difference between getting a job or not getting a job, or getting a promotion or not getting a promotion. Like that stuff matters. So we really love them. People can head to, I believe it's careergear.org, but you might want to check me on that, and get involved either with donations, or, donating time. They're based here in New York, but, I'm sure that there's plenty of ways to help support from near and far.
Can you let me know about how people can keep in touch? Obviously, this is a great time to promote any products you particularly want, social media links.
Yeah, we hope everyone comes visit us on StyleGirlfriend.com, and you can find us on Twitter at StyleGF, and on Instagram at the same handle, StyleGF. We're also on Facebook, Style Girlfriend. So we're everywhere. We're hard to avoid.
That's it for another week. Thanks for listening. Absorb it, practice it, use it. Until next time, keep trying to hit that next level in your life.